today I'm going to show you what is the benefits of using OOP in PHP, meaning object-oriented programming instead of just procedural code. So let's start with some examples. We're going to have just one index file. Let's call it index.php. And let's have some example. We want to show a form with getting some user information. Let's start. We don't need PHP tag when we have HTML, so we just start writing the HTML inside the PHP script. The form will have input field, which is text field. It could be just like that. Put type around equal to text, and name of the field is name. We will have the name of the person here. Let's say full name, not just the first name but full name. The second field will be a drop-down field. We may call it like that, with name. Here the person will choose what is the current position, what kind of job it work. So it will be position, let's say. And we're going to have some options here. For example, the first one will be developer. Let's say not just developer but web developer. Then we will have designer, web designer. What else? We can have QA, and one more, project manager, PM, project manager. Okay, so let's have also a description field, which will be a text area field, and with name of description. Okay, we have a form. No, we just don't have a form yet because there is a mistake. Okay, and we will have post request to send the data to the server. I will show you how. Okay, so once we have the form, we can try to open the page in our browser from here. And it's ugly, but we can see the results of our HTML. We have here the field, the text field, the drop down, and the description field. Let's put some placeholders. This is the full name. Okay, and this is the description. Okay, yeah, we can have placeholder on the text area field. So we have these three fields. Now we want to get them with PHP. So what we can do is to write some PHP code to handle that form. Alright, so we have we want to get the these three fields from the form, and we're going to define the variables. So we have the full name is equal to post, when we get the data from form with post, we have this global array post, and here we should specify the name of the field. It's like that. Then we have the position. It is the same. It is again in the post, and we will receive this value here. Yeah. So this is the position, and in Rust we have the description. We have the description field. All right. So what else now? We have this variable defined, but now if I open the page, I will get some errors because I try to access these fields before they are submitted, and this data doesn't exist, so I getting error that data doesn't exist. And always I should have a default values. If something is null and it's not set, I can use this operator to define the full name. By default is empty string. The position is also empty string, and the description is also empty string. The PHP storm letting me know that I'm using newer version syntaxes, so I will tell to PHP storm that this is 7.2 version, so I don't have problems now. And what else? Now when I'm going to open the page, I will not have any errors here. Okay, so before submitting the form, we will need a submit button, which is type of submit, okay, with label, let's say send. We're going to send the data with this button. Okay, so now what I want to do is to show the data that is submitted. So let's imagine that we have this form for participant in an interview, and we want to get their data before they participate on the interview. And when once they submit the data, we want to show them how much time left before they participate on the interview. So now let's try to show this information. Okay, we have full name. We want this one. We want to show this information only if the button is submitted. So we are going to have another PHP open tag like here, and we will have short syntaxes of if, which is if we want to check if the button is set, and this is like that. Yeah, this is we don't have a name, so we will set a name of send. Okay, we are closing the if statement here, and if, and since we have this one, we can show some data with the user. The full name is equal to full name. Alright. We also want to break the line. Okay, this is better. So the position is, again, getting from PHP. And the description is this one. Description. Like that. Let's check what we have here. Oops, I have an error. It is on line 8. Yeah, of course, we need this again. Yeah, I have missed that. Okay, so the first name is this one. He is a web developer, so let's say QA. And let's have some description. I'm waiting for an interview for QA position in the company. What we have when submit the form. Okay, we have printed this position QA, the description, and the full name. Okay, we did the job here, and we have written a small PHP script to handle this form data. But now let's imagine that we need this data again on a separate page. The easiest way is to just copy paste this one, this code, and use it. But what will happen if we copy this code on a couple of pages, and then we want to add one more option here? Let's say we are adding product owner position. Okay, so if I use this form in a couple of pages, I should go to all the pages and change and add this one here. But what happens if we change the code? So I have, and if I add a new field, I should handle it also here. So it's very difficult to work with multiple files. That's why how the OOP helps here, the object-oriented programming, helps that it separates the code to objects, and this is an reusable object. So it doesn't matter how much bigger is the object. It could be smaller, it could be bigger, but it always helps when it's separated on small objects. And it helps to reuse the code, and it helps to reduce some large amount of codes. So currently it's not large, but imagine when we start to add new code here every time, it will be very difficult to handle. So the OOP, object-oriented programming, helps to reusing the code and also write a better code with complex logic, but on an easier way. So OOP handle complex problems, but on easier way. So let's have some example. What is the page we want to handle? We want to have another page where we use this form, but it is a page for, let me create the file. So it will be a page not for an interview, but for, let's say, to track the time when some person is on work, when the users start working. So I'm going to create this script which is start, let's say, or just work PHP. Okay, and I have the same form. I will need to know the person, the position, and the description, if any. But also, I should have a field or where I want to display the time where the person is going to work. It's checked that it's get on work. And actually, this is the same, but what is different here? So let's say in the first example, I have some information displayed here. I want also to display the time where the person is going to work. So we can have this one here, start work, and date. I want to display the date like, okay, this. Alright. So it's almost the same, but it has some difference. And the difference is what information we display here. Everything else is the same. So if I open this page from here, it is work PHP. Okay, I'm product owner, and I have nothing here, right? Okay, so I have checking in now on this time, and let's imagine that this time is locked somewhere in the database. So if I should start work on at 10 o'clock. So I have a 1 hour delay. So this may affect my bonus for participating on time in work. So this information is important. And let's back here again. Let's say we want to add a new field here. So we are adding a new field which is whatever, the age. Let's have let's add a field that we have the experience of the developer or the professional here. It's a simple text field with name, experience, and value. and value. Let's set placeholder, which is experience, and what else? This is enough. So years of experience. Okay, and we want to display this here also. All right. We also add a new field, which is the same as year and just experience. This experience. Okay, and we have this one here, but all right, we added new field, and when we go here to that PHP script, which is in the index PHP actually, I have that new field here, and product owner test. Let's say 5 years of experience. Okay, I have the information here. But now, when I go here on the other page, nothing. I don't have the new field added here, and also when I submit the form, I will not have the information there from the user. And you can see how difficult it is to handle the same data on multiple pages. But also, let's say I want to add the data, year experience, because I will need it for the logic, but I will have another information here displayed. So I can't reuse always the same code because it's not consistent. It's always difficult. It's always different. But also it has reusable parts where I don't want to repeat my code. This is one of the principles of object-oriented programming. Don't repeat yourself. There is also information about that. This is an official principle, and you can find it on Google, which is don't repeat yourself. So let's call the OOP here in the picture. So firstly, this data here, we use it on a couple of pages. We don't want to define it multiple times. So what we can do is to create a separate file and call it, let's say, data. Okay, so now here I have all the fields defined. And about this logic here, I can move the form also somewhere else. And the only thing that is different here is this part. So let's separate the form. Let me just have a folder template. Okay. and I will create a form here. Okay, this is a template, so I can copy from here and add it here. Alright, I have a simple template here. Also, what else we can do? Also the data it will be, let's create another folder, call it include. Okay, and we have the data. Right. So now the only different thing is this one, because depending on the data process we will show different information, we will apply different logic here, and this information should come from one point. So here, in order to use a piece of code, I can write here require. I can require only once. I will need only once to require the data, and it is here data PHP. So this is the data handling. This is something unique that we'll need here, and the form, it's in template, so again I will not require, but I will just include it. Include here templates form PHP, because include will not stop the script if something is wrong with the form, and this is kind of not required data. It's not required to display the data. It's something that we the script will continue to work. That's why we use include instead of required. So now the code seems more separated. We still have some notice here from PHP Storm. I will explain this later, but we have the data, we have the display, and the unique of the page. Let's say what this page do is to display the data, and we have also the template of the form included here. Let's do the same. Let's do the same here on the work page, like that. But here we don't want to display the year of experience, and also we don't want to display the description fields. We have some difference here. Okay, so let's see if this works that way. So go to work. Okay, we have the forms, and QA test 10 years of experience. Okay, I see only these two parts of the data. And if I go on the index page, it's on the default page. Again, I have this one. Let's say I'm a project manager. Test 2 years experience, and I see more fields here. So what I do, I reuse the form, and I'm reusing the form, and but at the same time I show different information. And so now if I want to let's say adding something to the template, for example, I want to change the color of the button. This can be done with some CSS. Let's say background color is red. Okay, and if I refresh the page, okay, but it's ugly, not red, but let's say green, this green, much better. So this is the page, the default page, and this is the work page. So I have the styles applied on both pages. So this is much better. We have separated the code so we can reuse it to different pages, and when you apply some changes, it's easier. It's happened on one place, and all the pages that use this template or the data handling will affect by these changes. It's easier. But let's back to the index page. Let's back to the index page. So PHP Storm says that this variable is missing, and that's because PHP Storm doesn't recognize what we have this on the included data. We have some code, it affects the script that where this code is included, but still, it's not recognizable. This is the first thing. And the second thing is that I don't know also what kind of data I have here. And let's say if I add this data here, I should every time look at that code and reuse these variables. Also, let's say we don't have the data from the post. Let's say we have a database and we use the data, we define the data from there. So it's not post, but let's imagine it comes from the get, from the URL, or it just it's in some file. We have a file where the data is defined. Let me have some example here. So we're going again to the index PHP, and let me define or I will just open a new script, and let's imagine that this script, what it does is to read a file. Let's imagine that the participant of the interviews have submitted some files with their information and we want to read them. So this will be a script called let's say user reader person reader. Okay, again here we don't need the form, we don't need the what we need is the data, and the data comes from a CSV file or a text file. We can create some file which is, let's say,